Boy, it's been a while since we've done one of these things, and there wasn't any special reason why we didn't, except, I don't know, I just didn't have much to discuss. There's a rare situation for me. Today we've been working on flyers, postcards that go out, and hopefully somebody will answer them. You never know. We're in a big debate right now. I'm sending out a postcard mailer, instead of my picture on it, it's going to have a picture of a dangerous monkey and another one of a smiling baboon. That would be Bob's picture, and this would be mine. I'm just sick and tired of real estate pictures, okay? They're all the same. You know, they're like that, or, you know, they're on the phone, and it's all the same crap. God forbid if it's a husband and wife or a couple of ladies, you know, they're always back to back, and it's crap. I don't like any of it. So I'll send a picture of a monkey. Last time we sent my sidekick Pickles, and the response on these things was absolutely, I mean, just underwhelming. Anyway, I get these things in the mail, like everybody else does. We get these postcards. Now, this is not the size of the postcard. This is the proof. The postcard is just a little postcard. And you provide a mailing list of where you want them sent. You can buy these lists. You can create these so-called farms that realtors like to work on. Some do. Some don't believe in them. I do. But then there's advertising in the newspaper, like here. This is a section of the newspaper, and they got smiling people here. Realtor, there's a husband and wife. Look, see, there's the business suit and all the rest of this. And then here's a guy. And I was drawn to this one ad. Not drawn to it, I was interested in it simply because this one says he does this, he does that, he does free advice, first-time home buyers, listing agents, buyer's agent. Here we go. The toughest and best negotiators around. Okay. And that's what got me thinking about negotiations. What are negotiations in this business? Typically, it boils down to this. The seller of the property wants $229, and the buyer wants to buy it for $219. Okay, so the seller counters back. You know, okay, well, $219, I'll take $225, and so on and so forth. I guess that's negotiating. Or what happens? The guy says, well, I'll give it to you for $226, and I'll throw in the barbecue. I don't know. I guess that's the tough negotiating. In this market, it's kind of usually a take it or leave it, and it's all weighed by, are you a cash buyer, in which case you're gold plated. You don't know it, but you are. Can you close fast? Oh, now you've got a platinum coating on you. And what kind of a buyer are you? Are the kind of guy that's going to nitpick the property, in which case a little of the luster has just gone off you? But as far as negotiating, there really isn't a hell of a lot of it in our business, particularly in a normally steady market out here. One negotiation you can do, if you really are, if you're a buyer's agent or you have a buyer, one thing you can do that will surely light a huge fire and create a gigantic firestorm with a lot of these listing agents is ask the listing agent, may I go present the offer? Can we make an appointment? I'd like to personally present the offer to your client. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are kind of new to this business, that have never heard of such a thing, and they'll be outraged and they'll say, of course not, and all the rest of the stuff. But anybody that's been around more than a couple of years is going to realize, yeah, sure, why not? You're going to go in and present your offer. You're not going to grind on the guy. You're going to show him the benefits. Oh, look at these people, they've got a 797 credit score. They've been approved for financing. Here's the letter. They're moving in from Teaneck, New Jersey. They love the neighborhood. Both their children are brilliant, and they're going to go to that grade school down the street where every kid goes from there to either Stanford or USC or Harvard. And they love the house. They love the bushes. They love the shrub. They love the grass. They love the gazebo in the back. They can see themselves enjoying. That's all you're doing. You're putting a human face on your buyer. If you just send this thing over by email or by fax, there's no humanity to it at all. It's strictly numbers. And make no mistake, it usually does come down to numbers. But sometimes if you get a chance to talk about your buyer and what it is they like about that home, not only is it flattering, but it also gives a little personality to your people. So it is people dealing with people. But probably about 60% of the time, you'll get some snotty agent on the other side that says, "Oh, we don't do that. My client." They love to say "my client." You know, the guy's got a high school education, and he wants to talk like he's, just past the bar. Whatever. My client want. You are allowed to do that, and the only time you can't do that is if the seller specifically has instructed his agent to not do that. That's one of your rights. You're supposed to be able to do that. Now, if you want to grind on and make a big deal out of it, fine. Let's get back to negotiating. Just closed a beautiful little, like a planned unit house over here. Really nice, fabulous client. A very nice lady, a beautiful home. And the sellers were extremely reasonable. And the sellers had a very, very professional agent. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you her name. It's Jeanne, goes by Jeannie Voorhees, and she's from Lion Real Estate. I've done 2 transactions with her. Let's go back to the old school. I've done 2 deals with her. Tommy Hopkins would kick me out of class, and she was very, very professional, very detail oriented, and a very reasonable person to get along with. And her sellers were extremely reasonable themselves. So here's the negotiating. You do your walkthrough, you do your inspections on the property, and you send the inspection report to the listing agent. In this case, I had the buyer, Jeannie had the seller. You send the inspection report over there. In this case, it was actually pretty thorough by another really interesting, good inspector named Carl Turnbow. Anyway, it was very, very complete. The house is in pretty darn good shape. There's a few little things that needed fixing, a couple things, odds and ends type of things, some more than others. But here's negotiation. You do a request for repairs. Now, it's interesting because the easy way to do this is say, in this case, I'll blow my own horn. All these repair requests are from the home inspection report dated such and such, prepared by so-and-so. That way you can do your request for repairs and you can go to the item itself, page 6, item 0280.01, whatever that happens to be. I don't know what it is. I don't have the report handy, and for the sake of this, it doesn't really matter. So you go through that with your buyer and you talk about the important things and you talk about the unimportant things on there. You're buying a used house. In this case, the home was built in about 89, I think, somewhere around in there. Well, you're not going to be able to take that house and through a bunch of ridiculous requests, turn it into a brand new home. It can't be done. And you don't want to antagonize your sellers to the point that you start in this give and take, what we call a pissing match. Excuse my term, but so what you want to do is be reasonable. And you go down the inspection report and you say, I want this item, that, and that. One of the things was have the chimney, it's got a wood burning fireplace, have that cleaned, and the dryer vent properly cleaned. No big deal. They clean the chimney, they run this thing through the dryer vent, so if there's any lint or buildup in there, you're minimizing the chance for catching on fire. Never heard of it done, but it could be. Now the water heater in this house was original. So page 15, he alludes to the fact that it's probably on its last legs. These things just don't last that long. So I said, page 15, water heater will be replaced at the buyer's expense after closing. Don't ask for a new water heater. Good grief. And so on and so forth. And finally, the kitchen, the appliances had a couple issues. And instead of saying fix this, fix that, put a new element, none of that crap. Seller to credit buyer, $300 in escrow for repair and maintenance of the kitchen. Done, plain. In this case, all this stuff was reasonable. It had had a termite report done 6 months ago, but the inspector saw termite tubes, the little mud things that go up and they get from the up into the house. And so we asked for a fresh Section 1 termite clearance. Section 1 are items that are of immediate importance. Section 2 are things that may be a problem in the future. So Section 1 is typically, that's what needs to be done for the termite company to clear the house. So we tried to get really reasonable, And darn if these people didn't say these are pretty reasonable. And not only did they have the work done, but they sent the receipts over. Page 12, items this, and this. Chimney and dryer vent have been cleaned. Here's the receipt. Wow, $265. So they spent some dough there. Over here, they had something else over here. I can't see what that is. Incorporated plumbing. Oh, there was a leak in the bathroom master tub that the inspector saw it come. It was dripping underneath there, so they replaced that. So this was negotiating. It's me talking to my buyer about being reasonable, and the listing agent talking to her sellers about these are reasonable requests. We didn't ask for the house to be recarpeted, repainted, re-roofed, a second story built on it, or any of that kind of stuff, and we didn't expect to turn it into a brand new house. Right now our buyer is in there, and she seems very happy. And in fact, I'm going to go say hello to her here in about half an hour. That's it for today. A lot of rapping about not much, but when I see expert negotiator, it makes me think that this guy thinks he's, I don't know, Donald Trump, I guess. There's not much negotiating to be done in these real estate transactions. Like I said, the seller may say, well, you can have it for $225 and I'll throw in the fireplace tools or whatever. But there's not a heck of a lot of negotiating. Just the idea that if you can get out there and present your buyer as a living, breathing human being or family to the seller, you might have a better chance of having them see your offer and take it into account and look at it in a little different manner. Now, if you're bringing a Cleveland lowball over there, don't even waste your time. You can't convince somebody to do that. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot. I really enjoy doing these things. I've just been kind of busy, believe it or not, earning a living to do these, but I like to do them when there's something to say. Otherwise, I just use my camera phone for a phone. Thank you.